Welcome to Align with the Cosmos. I am super excited for this brand new feature here on this YouTube channel. I'm Jennifer Regular, the host, and excited to welcome Gwenyth Luptak from Soulsong Astrology, who's going to be doing a monthly feature with us on evolutionary astrology and how it relates to our personal growth and how we evolve on our soul's evolutionary path. So we're going to be talking about some of the current dynamics that are going on in the cosmos, how the stars and the planets are aligning and influencing us, how we can take care of ourselves through that process, how we can use that information in our daily life to support us on our journey of self-realization. So Gwenyth, I am so excited that you're here. Tell us a little bit about yourself before we start talking about all the different planets and the influences they're having in our lives.
Thank you, Jennifer. I'm so happy to be here. Myself, I've been involved with astrology, passionate about astrology for over 45 years. It's been with me forever. And my focus, particularly in the last couple of years, is towards evolutionary astrology, which I'm even more excited about because that has to do with one's evolutionary path and the soul and how it guides you through a chart, which is really quite fascinating and I think very deep work for people, very important stuff. So yeah, so thank you for facilitating this.
Absolutely. I'm super excited. So tell us now, we're doing this on March the 28th. And what is happening? I know we just had an eclipse. We're in this wormhole between eclipses, and we have the moons that are influencing us and planets that people may be familiar and maybe not so familiar with. So I'm excited to hear what's really going on. So let's get to it.
Okay. So let's get to it. Yes, April. April is the busiest month of the year, the most active month of the year in astrology. So that in itself is a kind of exciting. Right on the 1st, on April the 1st, we have a retrograde Mercury. And retrograde Mercuries are, well, first of all, Mercury is all about communication. It's the planet that rules every aspect of communication, whether it's writing, speaking, thinking, just all of it. And when a planet is retrograde, retrograde energy is all about reviewing and reorganizing and releasing things that need reworking. And so we have this one will be in Aries and throughout the month, and actually started in March and will continue into the first weeks of May, is we have quite a strong connection with the theme is healing endings and opening to new beginnings. So it's a very clear theme for April. And so with retrogrades, just to review that a little more, it's always about breakdowns and about things not going as planned. And there's a lot of need to rework things. And there can be confusion, there can be misunderstandings, there can be everything from breaking down, appliances and cars to breaking down interpersonal relationships. So a lot of reworking is required. And obviously with energy like that, you don't want to be starting anything important during a retrograde because you actually don't have all the information and things will change once the retrograde is over. And also, of course, that also means don't sign contracts or anything important if you can avoid it. If you can't avoid it during a retrograde, then just be aware that things will probably shift and there may be more reworking to do after things go direct again. So this particular retrograde Mercury has many conjunctions in it. Right now, the planets are actually very close in the sky. Most of them are in the sign of Pisces and Aries. And because there's conjunctions, that means a lot of new cycles, a lot of newness, new energies needing to focus and to rework things. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, so it's about endings, about surrender, and about release. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, conversely, and it's the I am principle. It has a pioneering spirit, and it's all about starting new things. So it's an initiating energy. So we're right in that in-between place. So this particular retrograde Mercury chart has conjunctions with Chiron, the wounded healer, with Eris, the goddess of chaos, and the moon's north node, and the sun. So this points to a need for a lot of deep reflection. Sometimes there may be difficult conversations to have to deal with in your interpersonal relationships of any kind. And the goal is all about releasing what no longer serves you. So it's probably about a 6-week process where we're really focused on that kind of energy. And then a week later, on April 8th, we have a total solar eclipse, which is kind of exciting. It will be visible in North America, coming from the northeast to moving to the southwest. And the influence of eclipse runs for several months, and it usually brings permanent change in a person's life. Now, the thing always matters with these charts is if it's closely aligned to your personal chart, then you'll really have an impact. If it's not so closely aligned to the planets in your personal chart, this will be a more subtle experience, this eclipse energy. But regardless, there's always whatever house the eclipse falls in your birth chart will be an area of focus and a lot of and energy and focus and attention to the departments of life that particular house has for you in the next few months. So we continue on the theme of healing and new starts. The eclipse is an exact conjunction. It's only 1 minute away from Chiron, the wounded healer. And then Chiron conjunction to Venus, which is the planet that rules relationships. It also rules harmony, balance, justice, fair play are all very, the scales is what the emblem of Libra, and that's very much the focus for that sign. And the eclipse is also conjunct that retrograde Mercury, as well as the moon's north node. So the theme that starts with the retrograde gets highlighted even more, with the eclipse. So what that offers is compelling depth in your relationships. Now, if you're able to speak your truth and tactfully and honestly, of course, and if things are scattered or confused in your social relationships, then of any kind of work relationship, however it shows up, then that just is a clear sign that you need to go further in personal alignment. Something's still not complete yet. And finally, with that chart, there's a harmony between Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter. And this supports timely growth and rebuilding, which it just adds a steadying influence. Saturn is a very steadying influence, and that is welcome here. You're able to build some more meaningful structures in your life. In the coming weeks, it's quite available if you want to focus on that. Then 2 weeks later, on the 20th of April, we have the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in Taurus. That's a new cycle for the relationship for those two planets. It happens every 13 to 14 years. And so we have a new cycle with these planets, and this energy, it will be actually, you'll start feeling it pretty soon, and will carry through into early May as a very exciting, uplifting, and dynamic, optimistic kind of energy, subject to sudden events, new opportunities, and unusual experiences. There's idealism is liable to be higher in your thoughts and your actions when these two planets get together. And it's also a very restless, changeable kind of exciting energy to be with. So to break it down a little bit, Jupiter represents generosity, abundance, and it has a very broadening impact on things whenever Jupiter's involved with something. Uranus is very future-oriented, it's innovative, and it's revolutionary in intent. The sign of Taurus is all about value and worth, and that can range anywhere from material possessions and money to the all-important self-worth is another Taurus aspect. So when you have Jupiter, Uranus, and Taurus, because Taurus is an earth sign, Taurus is a very practical sign. This really, these conjunctions and this cycle is all about dealing in physical reality. It's best directed to practical implementation of actions that come out of this conjunction for you. So that in itself is kind of exciting. The chart has the moon in high focus, so it's in a very prominent position, has a lot of influence in this chart. There are 3 lovely trines, 2 trines to the Jupiter, Uranus, as well as to Pluto. And this is all about it supports redefining old systems, it supports growth and change, and it really offers the opportunity to take bold steps for solutions. Uranus and Jupiter together are quite willing to expand and explore and just, jump in, so to speak. And then the moon also has a couple of more stressful aspects opposing Neptune and Mars. There's when you get Neptune particularly in the picture, there can easily be a lack of clarity and unclear intentions. Mars can be very impatient energy, and inconsistency between those planets could be kind of some of the aspects that will can cloud the movement. So just to be aware of that. And so the goal really with this combination is really about driving energy to seek a deeper trust with those who are close to you in your life. That's a really driving energy, especially with Chiron and Eris in the mix, because they are both 2 very intense but powerful expressions that have to go to the real heart of issues. But there's also a lot of growth that can come out of that. And Saturn is sextiling at Jupiter and Uranus, and it provides a very steadying influence and supports meaningful restructuring in relationships. So good to have Saturn on board. And then 3 days later, on April 23rd, we have the full moon in Taurus and Scorpio. The full moon is the high point in the monthly cycle for the moon. And it's a time when things become clear what is working and then what is not working in terms of a process that has been started a couple of weeks earlier. So, and then you have opportunity afterwards to adjust and work on things more if you need it, or celebrate if everything seems to be going smoothly. That's wonderful. So in the chart we have Mercury is stationary, getting ready to go direct. It goes direct the following day, so it's all poised and ready to start moving forward with the insights and the work that's been done during the retrograde. In the chart itself, Pluto is very dominant, has a strong influence on the chart. And with Pluto's involved, then you can expect intense encounters at times, very transformational energy. And if things are successful, it offers a deepening in meaningful relationships. So once again, there's such an opportunity for things to be on a much deeper, more authentically aligned level coming in the month of April. So the theme is very much about nurturing. Nurturing is in focus, and something to contemplate with that is finding to ask yourself the question of with nurturing, where's the balance between nurturing yourself versus nurturing other people in your life? So that's one piece. And with this chart, you're being directed to use self-control or take organized actions and a step-by-step approach. So very methodical, because you have the opportunity to be building a new format. So that sums it up for April, Jen.
Wow.
Anything you would?
So much to look forward to. It looks like such a rich month, like where we get to experience so much of who we are and being able to really align with
Yes.
that, and how
Yeah.
we proceed in the world, with our
Yeah.
work, with our relationships. And I really appreciate how you went over all of the key themes. So what's happening, with the planets and the moon's nodes, and being able to support us in what to actually focus on, where we can really increase our capacity for that self-mastery, right? And really come into alignment with how we're presenting, how we're moving through all of these changes that are coming here for us, not to us, right? To be able to evolve with them and really create
Yeah.
the life that, beyond we even imagined, right? That's the evolutionary growth. And that's can be very personal, but also how our personal growth affects others. Like you were talking about the balance of nurturing ourselves and nurturing others, and then into our community. And then, of course, the collective, the world on a whole. And so I love that you gave us those key themes to be able to work on. Something that you mentioned too, Gwyneth, at one point too, is depending on where the eclipse lands in your chart. So how can someone discover that? How do they find out where the eclipse is landing in their chart? Is there a way to do that?
Well, I mean, for example, on Cafe Astrology, you can download a basic chart for yourself.
Mhm.
If you know your time, it's always based on the time of birth. If you do not have an accurate time of birth, then you can't actually find your, house cusps. So, and know what houses are. So it is dependent on having some knowledge and some information. But most of us astrology lovers do have that part
Yeah.
worked out.
So that's the first step. And then how do you find the eclipse and what house that's in?
Well, by the degree that the eclipse is, when and where that falls out in your chart. So, the eclipse is, excuse me a minute, it's in early, I don't remember the exact degree at the moment, but in early Taurus and Scorpio. So, or early, sorry, early Aries. I'm getting mixed up with the full moon. The full moon is in early Taurus and Scorpio. The eclipse is about 5 degrees Aries, and so you'd have to know where Aries, 5 degrees Aries is in your chart. So if you have the house cusp, well, it just depends on you'd have to have a chart. You'd have to know what degree your house cusp is. Um, because if it's over that degree, then it would be in one house, and then if it's under that house cusp, then it'd be in the other house, a joining
Okay.
house. So there's a little bit of information you need, but I think many people that, again, like I said, that have their charts and have had either a reading in the past or just curious and have downloaded their own charts, and it can will know that we'll be able to access it fairly quickly. But that's the best. That's the best I can say at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, no, perfect. Thank you. That provides some guidance and some steps to be able to find it yourself. And of course, we have this amazing astrologer on hand too. So we'll make sure that we have all of Gwyneth's information in the video description below if you'd like to connect. And Gwyneth, I'm curious a little bit more too, if you can share about evolutionary astrology. And I know it has a lot to do with Pluto and soul growth. And so I'm curious how evolutionary astrology views the soul. What is the soul when it comes to evolutionary astrology?
Okay. So first, I'd like to say I'm welcome to any comments and questions that anybody has on the topic of astrology or the topic of evolutionary astrology. I would all submit them, and I'll be happy to answer. I do have a client question, which Jen was just talking about, and that's in evolutionary astrology. What does the soul mean? And if we take the soul to be defined as the immortal, eternal aspect of a human life, then in evolutionary astrology, Pluto represents the soul in the birth chart. and it carries the life's intentions with it. And the moon's north node chart the pathway for this soul's evolutionary growth. And Pluto is considered to be the deepest, most unconscious part of an individual. It has a driving force for conscious evolution, and that is it works in multiple themes. Themes often run over lifetimes, multiple lifetimes, and you have to explore and experience fully what the theme is before your consciousness raises to a level that you can release what you've been working with and move on to the next level. The final thing to say about that, the soul has a dual nature to it. On the one hand, it's facilitating individual exploration and development so that you discover and learn all aspects of your being, so shall we say. And then when that's developed, to share with others your gifts and abilities. And then on the other hand, there's a quest to release separation and return to source. And that is the ultimate goal of raising consciousness via a soul work. Long-term plan there. And so that's what I have to say on that. Is there anything that you would like to ask or anything, Jennifer, on the topic?
No, that's perfect. I think you explained it really well. And yeah, I'm looking forward to comments from the viewers and what questions they may have as well. So we're inviting those. And we're going to have Gwenyth Luptak on every month on Align with the Cosmos. So make sure you do get your questions in and any comments, and keeping tuned in so that you can join us for the next month's energy and dynamics and key themes to be working with. Super excited for all of this. This is our first premiere episode of Align with the Cosmos. And Gwenyth, I'm so grateful that you're here and offering all of this information to us. Very valuable, and I really appreciate you.
Well, thank you so much, Jennifer. And I really appreciate everything that you're doing as well. I think it's wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you
Yes.
so much. And to all of you that have been tuning in, we'll see you again next time. And be sure to also check out the weekly podcast, Awaken and Ascend. That goes live every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific. And then once it's there, it's out there. So if you're in a different time zone where that doesn't quite work for you, you can always catch the replay of that. So we'll see you all again next time. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.